Hello everyone, it's Rachel from rwcrafts.com. Today I'm sharing with you the beginning of my holiday mixed media mini album that I want to create. So hopefully I'll be back with you in the coming days to show you the insides, but today I'm just focusing on the cover. So I put this together by getting two pieces of chipboard. I cut them 4.5 by 4.5 inches. The inside is 3 pieces of cardstock that measures 4 inches by 12 inches, and actually one of those measures 4 inches by 8 inches. And then I scored at the 4-inch mark, and you fold it into an accordion and glue them all together. And there you have this album. So I'm going to get started on the cover. I started first by gessoing the front and back covers with Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft gesso. It dries really fast, so I was able to get started pretty quickly. And now I'm scribbling on some gelatos that are red and brown. It's a funky color combination, but I really wanted to give something different a try, so here we go. You can experiment with me. So I scribbled on the gelatos, and now I'm going over it with some water to help them blend. And then I wanted to tone down the color, so I'm just wiping over it with my paper towel. And I wanted some more brown on the edges to create kind of a distressed look. So I'm taking my Faber-Castell Stampers Big Brush Pen. This color is Nougat. It's just a nice rich brown color. And I'm putting it on the corners and on the edges, and then you can smear it around with your finger because it's the India ink inside that you can smear around on non-porous surfaces. And then once it dries, it's permanent. So here's the base of my cover. Now I'm going to go on it with this, my absolute favorite stencil of the moment. It's from the Crafters Workshop. It's called Lace. This is the 6x6 version of it. They also make it in a 12x12. Both are gorgeous. You can see it's been used. It's already stained. So I'm just lightly dabbing over it with this makeup sponge and an off-white, I believe the color is buttercream paint, Americana paint. So I'm just going lightly over, and there you see it almost has a nice mosaic look to it. So once that dried, I'm now going over it with my Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft Whipped Spackle. This is one of my favorite modeling pastes to use. It's very light and it dries very quickly. And I'm going over it with the Crafters Workshop Evergreen stencil. This is also the 6x6 version, and it fits perfectly on the cover of my card. And I wanted to show you that you still have a lot of that modeling paste or whipped spackle left behind. You can just scrape it all off of your stencil and put it right back inside the container. So before I let the whipped spackle dry, I'm going over it with some distressed glitter. This is a gorgeous gold color of the distressed glitter. You could also do this with an embossing powder. I think that would be really cool. I've tried that before on other things, but I didn't have gold embossing powder, so I decided to go with the glitter, and it still looks beautiful. I love this gold glitter, especially over that evergreen stencil. It's just beautiful. And remember to always use your glitter over, I like to use a folded piece of paper. It's just my scrap printer paper. Everybody has it. And then you just fold it and dump it right back in the container, so it doesn't look like I used anything. And now I'm going over it with this is my heavy duty heat tool. This is what I use for heat embossing. And I'm actually going over the tree until the whipped spackle starts to bubble. Typically you don't want it to bubble. That's not a good sign, but I wanted the bubble. It actually gave it an extra added dimension. And it almost helps the glitter kind of seep into the whipped spackle, so it really becomes a part of it, not just sitting on top. So I let that dry, and it was heated. And now I'm using this fragment. This is called 2015 Fragment. It's by the Crafters Workshop. And since this is my 2015 mixed media little mini album, I thought that this was the perfect time to use this fragment. So again, I went over it with some whipped spackle, And that little part right there is what says the December. So it'll say December 2015. And I did let it completely dry before going over it with my Stamper's Big Brush Pen in the Nougat. And the brown Nougat over the cover just really blended in too much. So now I'm working with it to add some red around the edges. And now I'm going over it with my Stamper's Big Brush Pen in black. And you can see that you can still smear it around. So you'll have the black on the top, but there'll also be some of the brown and the red showing underneath. So it'll have more dimension than just using the black. So here's the cover of my album. And I hope that you'll join me later for the following inside page.